This is Keith Boggs, and this is the debrief for 15650 Brookwood Drive. First picture you see here is just a picture of the front of the house. Nothing necessarily wrong, just for the telepage of the report. This is the approximate direction the house is facing, so approximately south. This is the temperature when I got here. So temperature has got to get above 60 degrees to test the air conditioning. So we could not test the air, but we were able to test the heat. So if it's below 60, it can damage the equipment. So these two things will not be in the report. In fact, all the pictures I'm showing you here, not all of them are going to be in the report. Some of these are just for talking points to remind me to talk about things. I'll get some videos too. This is your meter. If you can see the little red dial right there, little triangle. That's what's called a low flow indicator. So one of the very first things that I do is check for supply leaks. And basically, you just sit there and stare at that little dial there for about 30 seconds, a minute, to see if there's any movement. I actually recorded it. So there's a little 30-second video I'm going to play. So if there's any supply leaks, even if very minor, this thing will spin around. I mean, and it's very minor. It'll pick up really small amounts of water. You can see it just kind of sits right there.
So what kind of leaks are they?
This is supply leaks. Supply leaks like on the coming from your sink.
Okay.
Not drainage leaks, pressure leaks.
Okay.
So you're saying since it's not moving, there doesn't appear to be any sort of leaks?
Yep. So I was at a house and it was just a little drip coming off of the utility room, and it was picking it up.
Really? Wow.
I mean, it's very sensitive.
It's amazing.
Yeah. This front light here did not come on. Probably just a burnt out light bulb. So this will be in the report, just going to state that the light right up here. That light bulb needs to be installed and the light needs to be tested. This is the water pressure to the house. So the range for the water pressure is 40 to 80. Yeah. So you're about 90. So it's about 10 psi too high. So you need to have a plumber come out here and lower that pressure down. You do have a pressure reducing tank in the attic, so I'm assuming they installed that. If they did, they probably also installed a pressure reducing valve and expansion tank. They probably have both of those, in which case it's going to be a simple adjustment for the plumber. This is the front spigot, and you can see my hand's wet. It does leak from the handle. This spigot right here. Right here. These are your two condensers. These are really just for me. These are the manufacturer's labels. We use this to check the max breaker and the panel box to see if they match, and they did. Both of the breakers matched.
When you say matched, what do you mean by that?
Okay, so per the manufacturer, it says the max breaker is 35 amps. So that breaker there needs to be between 35 and 21 amps.
Okay.
And if it's above 35, then it's the wrong size breaker.
Okay.
But it was fine. This is showing a little structural movement around the garage trim on both sides. So really just need a caulk around here. That type of movement you're seeing around that trim is very, very minor. It's very common. Even brand new houses have that. This is inside the panel box, and the panel box was fine. No problems there. This is a video of the garage door test. So there's two tests. We do a pressure reverse test. So I put a brick here, and when the door hits it, it should reverse. And I do an electronic eye test, where I put my foot in front of the eye, and the door should reverse. So I'm going to go ahead and play those. Once it hits that brick, within a second or so, it should back up. Pressure test. This is electronic eye test. There's some cracking in the garage, some structural movement, some cracking in the garage ceiling here, on the ceiling on the wall. Right up, you can see they've done a repair there. It's very minor. It probably looks worse than it is. It's not structurally significant. There probably was some loose framing at some point that just kind of moved around and caused that cracking. So none of the things I've seen show any kind of indication of any kind of significant structural movement. So
Okay.
Here in Texas, it's very normal for houses to move, and they're built that way. The plumbing is sleeved. They expect them to move. We just want them to move uniformly, evenly, and that's just through controlling the moisture around the perimeter. So sometimes you get this kind of. The garage is also a weak area. That's also the garage ceiling, right up there. I did go into this attic area here and looked around. The area where this cracking is back here. There's actually a 2x12, two 2x12s going across that area right there, which are pretty heavy. That may be causing the problem. Everything looked to be tied in fine. There wasn't any loose framing or any cracked framing, so it looked fine.
So would that involve any kind of repair work that would need to be done for us?
No, nothing more than just caulking and painting it.
Okay.
You can reduce these things and mitigate this stuff a lot just by controlling the moisture around the foundation using either soaker hoses. You can do it by hand, or you can have the irrigation company install a drip irrigation and have your sprinkler system do all the work for you.
Okay.
This is your sprinkler system. This is not something that can be run manually. It has to be done from the person who owns its phone. So I couldn't test this with the sprinkler system. So we'll have to have the seller just confirm that it does work and get you the passwords and all that kind of stuff. This is just for me. That's the temperature when I got here. Okay, this is the powder bath. Yeah, powder bathroom. This, you see the door, the drain stop here? If you pull on this, it doesn't move. It's not connected in there. So you can still push it down with your finger, but if you want to get it to go back up, you got to reach underneath the sink and pull the little rod up.
Okay.
That sink right there. This is the microwave. This is showing the microwave does work. This is your cooktop. Showing the nice blue flames. It's actually upside down, but the cooktop works fine. This is your oven. Set to 350, and it only heats to about 312. So the range is 325 to 375. So that needs to be adjusted. It looks like it's new. So if they don't have the owner's manual, you can go to Whirlpool and download that manual and make that adjustment yourself. This is your dishwasher. This is the first time I checked it to see if it was heating, and it hadn't started heating yet. It did eventually heat though. This is under the kitchen sink here. I did test the disposal. It worked fine. Filled up both the sinks with water and drained them, and there were no leaks under there.
Okay. Is there an incinerator over here too? There is?
Yeah, that's a disposal. Yeah.
Okay.
Both these valves, see the moisture around here? It looks like they need to be replaced, so they're just dripping a little bit.
Yes.
You put a hose on it, it's probably not going to be fine. Yeah.
That's where your
Hot.
hose washer.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this has leaks, you're saying?
It's not really leaking. I think it's just more of a dripping, like occasional dripping, because it's not flowing or anything. It's just wet around there. We can go look at it if you want. They haven't tapped off. So probably need to replace both of those.
Okay.
That's just the location of it. This is this outlet actually right behind us there. That outlet right there has got loose wiring in it. So if you can only see one light lit up. If you jiggle it, the other lights come on. So we don't want any loose wiring. That's a fire hazard. That's just where it's located down there. There is a little bit of cracking inside the structure. Again, nothing that I would consider structurally significant. Well, if you can see that right in there.
That falls into which part of the house?
That's in here.
So here.
Yeah, this is in the office.
Okay, the office area.
See from here. And there's also cracking here. And on the other side there.
Okay.
This is probably more from there's a piece of metal flashing. Cozy flashing on. That's probably what that's from.
Okay.
Again, neither one of those are structurally significant. This is just a location of those two cracks. This is one trim board that is cracking up there. So that shows, again, not structurally significant. Right up there. This is which bathroom is this?
Secondary bathroom.
Secondary bathroom upstairs. This is not a very good picture. You see there's a kind of a gap between the splash wall and the spout. It's not up nice and tight. So right behind, you can't. There's actually a hole right there. So you want that to be nice and tight and caulked around there. Right here. This is showing a little movement at the splash wall at that sink. Just need to caulk that up. Caulk and paint. There is a drip leak. I think this is at the master up there. Or this is the other. The master's over here, right? The other one, bathroom. It's barely dripping. It took a couple minutes just to get those 2 drops, but that sink right there does have a little drip leak.
Oh, okay.
So that needs to be fixed. These are the attic access stairs going up to the 2nd floor. They're using screws here. You can't use screws to retain those stairs. Screws lack the shear strength that a nail has. So the screws can snap. So if you get somebody 250, 300 pounds going up those stairs, this could actually fall out of the ceiling. So they need to put what are called 16 penny nails. You put 2 at the front, 2 at the back, and 3 on each side. I'll actually put the nailing pattern in the report, so it's something you can do yourself. Probably a $5 fix. This is your number 2 heater. A little bit of rust in the drain pan. So that just shows that the AC at some point was discharging into the secondary. It's not severe rust though. This is the temperature at that number 2 furnace, 113 degrees. So it was heating. These are your 2 water heaters. They were fine, both of them. Again, this stuff's from me. This is your other unit, number 1 unit. Only thing wrong here is this is called a sediment trap. It's too short. The minimum is 3 inches. So that collects dirt and debris in the gas. It keeps it from getting into the unit and damaging the unit. So that needs to be made about twice as big. The filter was clean. And this is the other unit, 102. This is a smaller unit, so it's not going to get as hot. This is the cracking I just talked about at the top of the stairs there.
This one.
Yeah, that's right.
So you just fix it with some.
Yeah, it's just need to caulk and paint it. You're probably going to have some of these areas. Probably, if you don't really do a good job of managing the moisture, they're probably going to re-crack. That's pretty normal for houses in Texas. We're constantly fighting cracking and movement. The only way you can get a house here in Texas that doesn't move is to put a slab on top of piers and have those piers driven through to the bedrock. That's the only way to have no movement. That's the 2 areas right there. That's it. Okay. So super clean house. Wow.
So
very clean house.
You also checked the roof and stuff, right?
Yep, roof looks fine. Yep.
Okay, could you just walk us through what are the other things you checked, just so that we know?
Everything, except for the air conditioning. Can't run the air conditioning. Checked all the windows, doors, electrical outlets, all the appliances, electrical, not the sprinkler because that was not operational. Everything inside and outside the house.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the termite test. Did you check anything on the?
Yep, I did not see any termites. My sticker is right under here. This is my sticker.
Okay.
So this comes with, since it did not find termites, this comes with a 1-year termite warranty, and that's 1 year from when you close. So if you close in the middle of next month, 1 year from then. If you have any termites that show up, you call the phone number here in Dallas. They'll come out here for free.
Okay.
So the report will show everything he checked.
Okay.
But he's just showing us the things that had some concern.
Yeah.
Yeah, the video, this video recording we're making is going to have every single thing that we talked about, even the manufacturer's labels, all that stuff.
Okay.
The report's going to include the stuff that you're going to want to talk about. So you're not going to be muddied. I'm not going to muddy it with a bunch of stuff that it doesn't matter to you.
So overall, the structure is good.